Hello, my name's Christopher, and today I'm going to be installing Pterodactyl game server on Cosmos Cloud. Now, Cosmos Cloud is a secure environment for Docker containers, so it makes it to where you can not expose the Docker container. You can use a proxy and then get to it from the proxy, and also it has DDoS protection, rate limiting, user management, everything like that. So a little bit about this series is I'm starting the home lab, so I'm going to be going over installing stuff to getting things working. And if you like that, subscribe, comment, like, and let's get started. This is a viewer suggested video, so I want to give credit to this viewer right here for suggesting it. So if you have any suggestions for videos, you can go on the Discord on BigBearCommunity. It'll be down in the description, and just post in the suggestion forms and let me know what you want next. So let's get back to getting started. So a little bit about Pterodactyl is it's a panel for game servers. So you can also host game servers in it with isolated Docker containers. And then it's built on Laravel, so it has bcrypt hashing and encryption, HTTPS, free and open source, user-friendly, and scalable. And it's built on Redis and MariaDB on the back end. Redis is for caching, and MariaDB is for the database to hold data. Here's some screenshots of it. And then about the project, here's the supported games: Minecraft, Rust, Terraria, TeamSpeak, Mumble, Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike, Gary's Mod, Arc, and here's some additional standard nest of supported games. And then that's about Pterodactyl. So I'm starting with a fresh install of Cosmos Cloud. So we're going to go over to my Gist that I created. I went step by step on how to get it done. So I'm going to start with Docker Compose 3.8. You're going to set some environment variables for each service: database, panel, mail. And then you can change these if you like, since you're going to be running it in production. So we're going to set a database service for MariaDB. This is like MySQL. So we're going to set a database. We're going to set a MySQL user. We're going to set up the cache, and that's going to be Redis, and it's going to be running on the Alpine. And then we're going to restart always. So we're going to set up a panel now service, and we're going to pull from GitHub the panel, a latest version on the tag. So now we're going to restart always, and we're going to set some ports: 1180, 11443, and then to 443 in the container, and 1180 to 80 in the container. And why I did this is because if you go with the default and 80 to 80, it will collide with Cosmos Cloud. So you have to set it to a different port on the host side, or right here. And then we're going to link it to database and cache. And then we're going to set some volumes here. It's going to be in the serve, and then Pterodactyl, and then var, nginx, certs, which is let's encrypt, and then logs. We're going to set some environment variables. We're going to pull it from the panel environment and the mail environment up here. Then we're going to set more environment variables for the DB, the app env production, the app environment only, and the cache driver, and the session driver, and the queue driver, and the Redis, and the MariaDB. So now we're going to copy the Docker Compose right here. And then we're going to go over to the Cosmos, and then we're going to start with a fresh install. We're going to go to Serve Apps, and we're going to import Compose file up here. Then we're going to copy it in. And we'll press Next, and then it's going to give you a JSON object right here. So we're going to create. Okay, now service created up here, and it installed everything. So now you'll have panel, cache, and database. So you will go to right here, in the panel, and then you'll see where the panel is coming from. You can see the logs right here, Docker. You can see all the environment variables. Then your network. We're going to go right here. We're going to take out the host port. We're going to take out the host port on that one. And then we're going to do container port 443 and then container port 80 and then 9000 on the container port here. And then we're going to update the ports. And then we're going to see the storage that it binded it to serve Pterodactyl and then var, nginx, certs, which is let's encrypt, and then logs. So now we got the panel up. We got everything up and running. We got the panel, cache, database, like I said. And now we're going to create a URL down here. And it's going to expose 80 to the proxy and then HTTP and then confirm down here. And then it's going to refresh and it's going to come back up. Okay, now it's back up. So now you can go over to your URLs. You can see that it did expose it right here. So now we'll go over here. We'll see that we have a 500 internal error. That's normal. So we're going to fix all this up and get it working. So I showed you the 500 internal error. So now we're going to fix it, get it all set up, get the user set up, everything like that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to do, and they're pretty easy. It's built on Laravel, so it's pretty easy on getting it set up. But so now we'll go over to the Cosmos and then your console, the LXC, and then your console right here. Then we'll be inside of it. And we'll go to Docker PS. And then we'll get the container ID right here. We'll do Docker. If I can spell. Okay, IT, and then we'll do ID. And then we're going to put a bin on there. And then we're going to SH. And then now we're in the Docker container. And we're going to go back to our Gist. You're going to see that now we're on step 2 right here. So we're going to copy this. We're going to create a Laravel encryption key. It's pretty normal. Okay, now we're going to paste that in. It's going to say that it's production environment. You're going to press yes, yes. Well, type yes, I mean. Okay, now it's going to say application key set successfully. So now we're going to go over to the next step. This is step 3 now. So now we're going to have to clear the cache, and then we're going to have to optimize it and rebuild the cache. So we'll go over to the Proxmox panel again. We'll paste in the optimize command, and then now that's done. And you should see, let's go back to the UI real quick. You should see the UI is working now. Okay. Now you're going to go back to your Proxmox panel. You're going to go back to, so we went to the website URL. It showed the login. So now we're going to go to step 5. So this is where you create the user and get everything working. So I'm going to paste in the user command. And this user will be an administrator. And then I'm going to type in a email address. And then I'm going to type in a username. And then I'm going to type in a password. And then here you go. I have my user created. It's in the database now. So now I'm going to go back to the UI because you should be able to log in now. And I'm going to go to Big Bear. So now type in my password that I just typed in the LXC console. Then I'm going to press login. So as you saw in the last clip, is I had an error on the login and it did not work. So I had to figure out what was wrong. And you go into serve apps, then you go to panel right here. Then you go to logs. And then you'll see database errors right here, or if you have another error. But I had an error of database errors to where it was the migrations were messed up. And so I'm going to go over to Proxmox and then I'm going to LXC console, and then I'm going to go to Docker PS, and then get the container ID, and then I'm going to do EXT sh. So now I'm getting in the container, and I'm able to run commands. I'm going to run migrate fresh. So it's PHP artisan, migrate, and then fresh, and then I'm going to run it. It's going to say it's in the production environment. You're going to type yes. It's going to rebuild the migrations, and you will need to go back to the step of creating a user now, getting that all set up, and then you'll be able to log in. So now we're going to go back to the UI. We're going to type in the username and password. Okay, now we're going to log in. Okay, now we're up and running. There are no servers associated with your account. So now if you go anywhere in this panel, we have it up and running. But the thing about it is if you go to your admin panel and you go to your databases, you'll get this 400 error. So we're going to have to change some environment variables and then update the cache. So we're going to go over to the Cosmos panel again. We're going to go in the serve apps. Then we're going to go to the panels details. And then we're going to go in the Docker over here. And then you'll see this app URL right here. You'll just put HTTPS on here. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to press update container. Now, if you're in the Docker execute command like we were before, you will have to go in there because it just recreated the container again. So we're going to go over to our Proxmox panel. You're going to see that you're logged out now. You're not inside the container because the container before didn't exist. So now we'll have to go and we'll have to do the PS command again. You'll have to find your container ID. It's right to the left of the panel right here. And then we're going to type in the execute command again. And then we're inside the container now, the new one. So every time you update any environment variables in the Cosmos Cloud, you have to go in here and you press optimize. So now it's caching the framework bootstrap files. Now, if you don't want to optimize, and I highly recommend optimizing the config, but if you don't want to, you can clear it all out and then it'll be gone. But I highly recommend optimizing the config and the routes because a Laravel needs that. So now, once you do that, and you're going to go back over to your panel right here, you'll see the 400 error. But when you go over here and you put HTTPS on it, it'll work. So now we're going to go back here, and we're going to go back to the start again, just test it out. We're going to go up here to admin. And then we're going to go to databases, and you can see there's no 400 errors anymore. So we fixed another error that was just, it had an issue between HTTPS and HTTP. So we're forcing the HTTPS now on the Laravel side. So I just went step by step on how to get Pterodactyl working on Cosmos Cloud. This makes it a more secure environment. And so if you like this tutorial, subscribe, comment, like, and support the channel. And also, if you need support, you can go down to the Big Bear Community and join our Discord. So stay tuned for more.